past it, okay? And by the way, a big shout out to Ash for sending me this story. This is all about a guy. He is now in his late 30s, and he goes over the course of his life over 20 years, how this guy came absolutely from very tough beginnings as a child, but overcomes them like a man should, which is awesome, and you're going to see that for his reasons. But then ultimately you're going to see how he is absolutely just destroyed by his loved ones. His extremely deceitful wife and his unbelievably disrespectful and ungrateful daughter. And let me tell you, he goes scorched earth on these two. And there are others as well that do him wrong. And there's hardships he goes through, but ultimately in the end, you're going to see how he gets things together. And this is actually a 3-part story, guys, because if I did the whole thing today, we'd be here for like an hour and 20 minutes. It's long. And you're going to see this first video is obviously long, but it's a good one. So if you're in the car, relax. This is a good story for a good period of time. If you're at home, kick back, have some popcorn, have a beer, listen to this while you're having lunch, whatever, but this is a good one. So I'm going to jump into it. Starts off, he says, I've been stalking these subreddits for a while, and I thought just reading people's stories would help me out. Or if I found someone with a similar situation, I could see how they did it. But I guess my situation is unique, so here we go. And yes, this situation is unique. He says, first, let me be clear. I don't care if you think this is fake. I don't care if you want to rip me a new one after I vent. It already happened. I thought I was okay. I thought I moved on, but after last weekend, it all came back, and that anger I had back then just came in full force, and even though I'm back home with my fiance, that anger towards my ex just won't go away. I've spent years in anger management for what she did and the situation that was created, and I thought I was okay. Right now, I just turned 39. I was 18 when I met my ex, Mary Saul. During that time, I was in a gang with and I'm not going to say the name here, guys, because YouTube probably wouldn't like me naming this gang, but let's just say it's where a lot of young Latino guys, they join it, and it's a very well-known gang. I'm sure you guys can probably figure it out. He says, I was a member since I was 13 and always in and out of trouble. So, 13 years old, he was in a very, very well-known gang. So you can imagine the trouble and the path his life was going. And yet you're going to see how he gets his act together. He says, Marisol was a church girl. My grandmother dragged me to Sunday Mass, and when I saw her, to me, it was love at first sight. I asked my cousin, who was a friend of hers, if he could introduce us, but he refused. He didn't want me to mess with her. He didn't want me to ruin her. Have you ever met someone that you wanted to make yourself better to be with? No, I can't say I have. That was her. I wanted to be the man who would walk the right path. When I found out that she was going to church almost every day, I hung up by the steps talking to her. I always walked to her to and from church. She made me feel like I wasn't worthless. One thing led to another, and we were dating, and I felt great. For a year and a half, I pushed myself away from the gang life. Well, that's awesome. This is a situation where a good girl, or at least you think is a good girl at the time, can help a guy get past his bullshit, and that could have been easy, obviously growing up where he did. I'm sure the gang didn't like him suddenly, disappearing or not doing what they do because of some girl. And obviously she liked her bad boy who was in the gang who she could reform. I want to point that out. He says, so I got my GED, became a regular churchgoer, and was thinking about the future when I unintentionally got pulled back in. They always get pulled back in. Until you leave that environment, if people who grew up in bad environments, the first thing you got to do is get them out of there. Because if they remain there or go back to it, the old things are going to drag them back in. He says, I was at a store and ran into someone that I used to have problems with. They were running their mouths off and I tried to ignore it. I swear I did. I just let them talk and I walked away. But then I got stabbed in the shoulder blade and lost my mind. I beat the crap out of him. I got arrested and suddenly it was like the shit I did to make my life better vanished. So he gets attacked and then he gets arrested. What a little bullshit. If he didn't fight back, he could have gotten killed. He says, Marisol was pissed at me. My grandmother kept bringing up my past mistakes, and my cousin was telling me that he knew I wasn't going to change. Wow, what a great support network there. My public defender saw me trying to better myself